Welcome to today's class. It's quite interesting as we continue with the study of household electricity. And in today's class, we're going to look at the 3-pin plug and its safety features. So we are expected to have two objectives by the end of this class. Number one, it should describe the structure and the wiring of a 3-pin plug. Number two, you should identify and discuss the 3 safety features which are included in the 3-pin plug. Let's quickly dive into objective number one. So the 3-pin plug has 3 pins, as the name suggests. What we're supposed to do is to draw the 3-pin plug, know the color coding of the 3 wires, and know the connections. How are they connected? So I'll take you through the 3-pin plug using this diagram. Let me start with color coding. The earth wire is a green and yellow striped wire. Green and yellow striped wire. So automatically this is our earth wire. Green and yellow striped wire. That's the color code. Number two, the live wire is the brown wire. In some cases you find it as red, but it's brown. And finally, the neutral wire is blue in color. You find it in blue. This is the color coding. Let's talk about the wiring. How are you going to identify the earth wire, the live wire, and the neutral wire, where you cannot see the colors? You can see blue, you can see brown, you can see yellow or green, because the question paper is black and white. You can use the alternative, which is the wiring. The one connected to the fuse is the live. Why is it connected to the fuse? I'll talk about it shortly. The one at the upper pin is the earth. The one at the upper pin. So on your socket, where there are 3 openings, up, then 2 down, the upper pin is the grounding slot or the earth wire. Then we have a cable tire and an insulation taking the current to the gadget. So this is color coding and wiring. Let's use this diagram to solve some problems. I want you in the next few seconds on diagram A, the first one here, I want you to identify the error in the wiring. Identify the error in the wiring. On diagram 2, I want you to identify the earth wire slot, the live wire slot, and the neutral wire slot. Let's take a commercial break. Once we come back, we'll continue answering this question. Welcome back. Let's go through it. I hope you found it useful. You can mark yourself as I present the answer. Now on the diagram A, the major error is in the wiring versus the color coding. The blue wire here has been connected to the fuse, yet the brown, which is the color code for the live, is the one which should be connected to the fuse. So we have mixed up wiring and color coding. The blue, which is neutral, has been connected to the fuse, which is wrong. We expect the brown representing the live to be connected to the fuse. Then this blue comes here. So that's the error in the first diagram A. On diagram B, use the numbers 1, 2, and 3 to identify the earth wire slot, the live wire slot, and the neutral wire slot. I'm just from saying the upper pin is the earth. So automatically the earth is on slot number 2. The earth wire is on slot number 2. Now you can see the position of your fuse. If we were to lift this 3-pin plug and insert it into this socket, the fuse section will be entering into slot number 3. And we know that the fuse is connected to the live wire. Therefore, we can safely say slot number 3 is for the live wire. Slot number 3 is for the live wire. If I had to lift A and insert it into B, the live wire slot here will enter into slot number 3. Then the remaining one, the neutral, is number 1. I hope you got it right. Let's continue as we come to the close of this. We are going to talk about safety precautions which are included on the 3-pin plug. So the 3-pin plug has 3 major safety precautions. Number 1, there is a fuse. We want to talk about how is it a safety precaution and how does it work. We have the earth wire. How is it a safety precaution and how does it work? Then we have the plastic insulation. This one is straightforward. It's for preventing users to come in contact with the live wire and avoid electrocution. Right. Let's talk about the structure and the function of these 3 safety features. Now we know that the earth wire protects the user. I said this earlier on in this class. The earth wire protects the user. How? Let's say there is a leaking current. The live wire is in contact with the metal case. In that case, the metal case of the gadget becomes live. There is current in the metal case. Once you touch it, you are likely going to experience electrocution or an electric shock. So the earth wire channels the leaking current to the ground, making the gadget safe to handle. So it protects the user. How? By taking the leaking current to the ground. Now, how is the earth wire connected? The earth wire is connected to the metal case of the gadget. Why? When there is leaking current from the live wire going to the metal case, the earth wire will take the leaking current to the ground, reducing the potential or reducing the current in the metal case. That makes it very safe to handle the appliance. So number 1, you should know that the earth wire protects the user. How? By taking the leaking current to the ground. When the live wire is in contact with the metal case, the earth wire will take the leaking current to the ground, making the gadget safe to handle. Number 2, you should know that it is connected to the metal case. Since it's protecting the user, it must take leaking current from the case to the ground. Hence, it's connected to the metal case. Let's talk of the live wire. We say that the live wire is the one which brings current to the gadget. Is the one which brings current to the gadget. Now, the live wire is not a safety feature. It's the wire which brings current to the gadget. But to it, the live wire is connected to the fuse. Now, the fuse becomes the safety feature. Why is the live wire connected to the fuse? It is the one bringing current or supplying current to the gadget. So in case of a surge, an abnormally high current flowing from the socket to the gadget, the fuse will blow. I will explain how when I come to the fuse. Cutting off the flow of current to the gadget, thereby protecting the gadget. So we can safely say the live wire, the fuse protects the gadget. Don't forget that the earth wire protects the user. The fuse protects the gadget. How? If there is a surge in current, the fuse will blow, terminating the flow of current to the gadget. You have protected your gadget. Now you are at risk if you are using a 2-pin plug. In other words, your gadget is not protected. The potential is you replace the gadget instead of replacing the fuse. So it's very important to invest in 3-pin plugs instead of 2-pin plugs. The neutral wire, it is not a safety feature, but you should know its purpose in a 3-pin plug. The neutral wire is a connection that completes the circuit to allow the flow of current. The live wire is bringing current to the gadget. The gadget is using the current. But current cannot flow if the circuit is not complete. So the neutral wire completes the circuit for a complete flow of current. Our gadget is using the current. So here we say it is neutral. What do we mean by neutral? Under normal circumstances, we should not have current here because the current has been used here. This is just there to complete the circuit. That's why they say the neutral wire has a voltage close to zero. It's just there to complete the circuit for current to flow, so that current comes to the gadget for use. Now let's deal with a fuse. How does it work? A fuse protects the gadget, the appliance. Let's say there's an abnormally high current. What happens inside a fuse? There is a wire. So when there is high current, this is the wire which is going to overheat and melt. When it is melting, it cuts the flow of current. Current can no longer reach to your gadget, so your gadget remains safe. So when there is an abnormal load, the fuse wire melts. That's why we say the fuse has blown, thereby opening the circuit and cutting off the flow of the current to the gadget. Take note, the fuse protects the gadget. The fuse protects the gadget. So it's up to you to buy a fuse or to use a 2-pin plug. When you're using a 2-pin plug, you're at risk of replacing your gadget. But when you're using a 3-pin plug, you can replace the fuse itself. Right. How is the fuse connected? We have talked about this already. It is always connected to the live. You should justify why. Because the live is the one which supplies current to the gadget. The live supplies current to the gadget. So when there is a surge in the live wire, the fuse melts and the gadget is protected. Now, how do we select fuses? That will be the last thing. Fuse selection. Fuse steps. Number one, you should check the power rating, the power requirement of the gadget. Let's say a gadget uses 12 watts. The gadget uses 12 watts. You need a fuse that will allow 12 watts for a normal operation of a gadget, and look for a small tolerance that does not allow the gadget to be destroyed. So in this case, for example, if an electric kettle is rated 12 watts, given the list of the fuses in this box, which are we going to use? We can't use the 5 because it cannot power the gadget because the gadget wants 12. We can't use 7. It cannot power the gadget because the gadget needs 12. We can use 13 because this is the one which allows 12 and it has a smaller tolerance of 1. We can't use 15 because it allows more to pass. We can still destroy the gadget because this is too high. So you choose a fuse with a higher power rating than the application, than the rating of the gadget, yet with the smallest tolerance. We don't need to be very heavy on tolerance because it will allow more current that will destroy the gadget. We just want a small tolerance. Like this one, the gadget is at 12 and the tolerance is 1. So anything beyond the 13 is blowing and we protect our gadget. Please, this is the most important statement. Choose a fuse with a higher power rating than the application rating and a smaller tolerance. That's how we select our fuses. We have come to the end of our class today, and I hope you learned and enjoyed the lesson. Chigo the senior coach signing out.